Mute. This doesn't work. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This doesn't work. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think it's. Huh? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari, Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. We continue our Isopanisad course, and we are already past mantra 8, and then we have started the middle 6 mantras, which are 3 and 3 mantras of the same structure, describing the dark and darker places attained by those who are good and better, bad and good, which is quite shocking. We discussed this yesterday. But considering that this is the Bhagavatam class time, we can chant the verse that is quoted by Srila Prabhupada in the commentary to mantra 11, the last mantra we read yesterday. So we can chant this one. This verse. We reached, today we will continue from mantra 12. Yes. But if you move a little back, in the end of mantra 11, in the purport, we have this verse quoted, 1, 2, 14. So we will chant this verse from the purport. It's the Bhagavatam verse, giving the conclusion of all the teachings from the Bhagavatam. So tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. So let's chant this. Each line we chant two times. Tasmadekena manasa, Bhagavan satvatam patihi, Srotavya kirtitavyascha, Dhyeya pudyascha nityada. So this is the conclusion Prabhupada is giving from Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. And then the last paragraph in the previous purport to mantra 11, unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification aim toward the attainment of devotional service to the Lord, they are all simply different forms of nations, as Sri Isopanisad indicates in the following mantras. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yasya prasadadagyopi sadhya sarvagyatam vrajat Sashi Chaitanya Devame Bhagavan Samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be merciful unto me. By His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. And we can also chant the invocation, auspicious invocation, calling for blessings, the invocation to Sri Isopanisad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. So this mantra says that the Lord is perfect and complete, and this world is perfect and complete, and although unlimited units, emanations come from the Lord, who also perfect and complete, He remains perfect and complete. So this is very different from the material things. If you have something expanding, then the original thing becomes often less. But Krishna is producing perfect emanations, always remaining perfect and complete. So we have heard about the Ishavasyan principle, the principle of God-centered life where we acknowledge that we are all parts of Krishna. We are all centered around Krishna. We center all our activities around Krishna. And we surrender to Krishna, remembering that He owns and controls everything moving and non-moving. But we do not stop acting. We act and we hear about the qualities of this Isha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is running and not running, immovable, He is faster than everybody else, and who is inside and outside, he responds to devotees appearing even from a pillar like Nrisimhadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj, young boy Prahlad Maharaj. And then he disappears even from inside the embrace of Hiranyaksha, who tries to defeat the Lord. So he appears at different times. And then we hear about meditating on Krishna at all times. If we meditate on Krishna, then we become free from 3 things, if you remember. Which 3 things we become free from? Fear, lamentation, illusion. Yeah, fear, lamentation, and illusion we become free from. Yes. Then in the yesterday's verse from yesterday evening, we heard that the Lord is antiseptic and prophylactic. He is pure. So Prabhupada is using very sweet, hygienic terms about the purity and cleanliness that the Lord is showing, and how by knowing Him we can get all these good qualities, because He is the source of all these good qualities. And then yesterday we started mantras 9, 10 and 11. Today we continue with mantras 12, 13 and 14. So what did these mantras tell us about knowledge? What do you remember from yesterday's mantras? What did we hear yesterday? Tobias, you remember? Alcohol is bad. Yeah, we spoke about this. True. What else? Yes, Isopanisad is saying something rather shocking. So what did the text say? That by cultivating ignorance, one goes to dark place, and by cultivating so-called knowledge, one goes to an even darker place. So that's, I thought knowledge is good. So how is it that by cultivating knowledge, I'm going to an even darker place? So how is it that by cultivating so-called knowledge, one goes to an even darker place? Not God connected, okay. Some examples. False knowledge, okay. Nuclear bombs and that are used just to scare everybody. Misleading, yes. It's compared to the very beautiful hood of a snake or of a cobra. It may be attractive, but it's quite dangerous. They say cobra is quite merciful. If the cobra bites, then you have exactly time to chant 1 round of japa. You can still chant 1 round of japa and prepare for departing. Yes. I remember when our institute moved to the Goshala property in Vrindavan, then there was tall grass and there were cobras. So there was a cobra actually right next to our institute. I was walking, there was tall grass, and this cobra raised the hood and said, "Shh." So maybe like 4 or 5 meters away from me. So I said, "Hare Krishna, don't worry, everything is going to be fine. You just go your way, I go my way." So in the evening, if I would return, I would make some sound with my feet so that the snakes get a warning. Nobody was bitten. I don't know anybody bitten in our property. And then they moved away. They went somewhere else. Okay, so they may look attractive, but they are quite dangerous. So this is compared to materialistic knowledge. Ravindra Sarup Prabhu is saying that if a simple person will have often maybe 1 or 2 reasons why they don't want to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why they don't want to surrender to God, then an educated person sometimes will have such a complicated system of why they should never even consider thinking or meditating upon the Supreme Transcendental Lord, that it's not easy to convince them. It's so difficult to convince them. Although oftentimes it's just a collection of false theories. Also Ravindra Sarup Prabhu, who used to come here, I think he did some seminars here in Simhachalam also. So Ravindra Sarup Prabhu said, he's the one who was one of the first who earned his PhDs in ISKCON. He wrote to Srila Prabhupada that I'm a temple president. I forgot which city he was a temple president in, maybe Philadelphia. And he said, should I stay the temple president or should I go and finish my PhD? So Prabhupada said, anybody can be a temple president. You go finish your PhD. So that was, I mean, not everybody can be a temple president, of course. Yes, so he says this as a joke. So he's saying that when he is preaching outside, then some people say, I do not believe in God. So then he's asking, what God you do not believe in? So he said, well, I do not believe in God that is cruel, in God that is funny like this, in God that is old, in God. Says, wow, you do not believe in the same God I don't believe in. We don't believe in the same God. Really? Yes. So because people, they reject such some pictures of God that actually are difficult to accept. Indeed, such pictures or conceptions of God are not so convincing. Are not very convincing. So this is what we were discussing. This is one way how even some religious knowledge can be misleading. So we spoke about 3 ways how materialistic knowledge is condemned. It leads to darker places because people neglect spiritual life. Some spiritual knowledge, which is very negative and denies devotional service, can be misleading. Saying that you are God, everybody is God. Never, you should never chant the names of God. You should never do devotional service. Never worship the deities. Can be misleading. But even devotional knowledge in religion can also be misleading. So in Germany we have the half a millennium history of Protestantism, right? So we have religion that was very powerful, but then there was some misuse, there was some lack of understanding and lack of purity, and then it led to so much, even to wars. There were even wars over religion. So that was between the wars between religious people over some interpretation of religion, of who God is, how to worship God. Then we have some theologians who speak about different kinds of souls. Why you can kill animals? Yes, because the animals will have no spirit, soul. So you can see that this creates a very dangerous precedent, because it means that you can have life without spirit. So basically that's the basis for materialism. Yeah, that you can have life symptoms without life, without spirit, without spiritual soul. So then just one small step to total materialism, right? That consciousness is just a transformation of matter. So therefore we have these 3 mantras saying that by ignorance one goes down, by false knowledge or incomplete knowledge one goes even further down. Then if you hear from self-controlled dhiras, then there are different results. And then if you apply this properly, then by ignorance you conquer death, and by knowledge you go to immortality. Vidya amritam ashnute. So ignorance here means that you take care of this lump of ignorance. Yeah, every day we sing Sharira Vidya Jal Jodendriya Taikal. This body is a lump of ignorance, so we can neglect it. But if we neglect it, then it makes it difficult to serve Krishna. It makes it difficult to pursue the path of self-realization. So therefore, even Canto 11 will say that even a sannyasi monk living in the forest should take care to feed the body. So to collect some alms and then feed the body, and to continue the path of self-realization. So we take care of the body, we take care of health. So taking care of health, that's part of it. That means also taking care of this lump of ignorance. So that's how you, by taking care of ignorance, you conquer death. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that without this body, you cannot, without the body, how can you do bhajan? How can you do devotional service? So we do not neglect, we are not supposed to neglect the body and the needs of the body. We are supposed to keep the body as healthy as possible. Keep the body healthy. And at the same time, do not forget. So as we have just read, religion, economic development, and sense gratification are supposed to lead us to devotional service. So this is dharma, artha, and kama, the classic aims of human activity. Dharma, religion, or dharma means some moral laws, so morality, how do we interact with others. Economic development, artha, so we all need shelter, we all need food, we all need economic development. And kama, sense gratification, so we all need food, we all need some amount of sense gratification. But if we use it to continue our path of self-realization, then all of them become perfect. If you do not use them for self-realization, then what is the gain? The gain is not so much. Animals also live. Animals also live, and if they do not meet a devotee who will chant Hare Krishna to them, then that's not very satisfying. Okay. So, mantra 12. Let us chant. Andham tama pravishanti. All together. Andham tama pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuyaivate tamo yau sambhutyam rataha. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. So another scary mantra, yes, that by worship of some demigods, one enters the darkest regions of ignorance. So if you look in the Sanskrit, you have asambhuti and sambhutya. So asambhuti means something that is not absolute. So the rulers of this universe, the powerful figures who control the forces of this universe, by worshipping the relative personalities, one will go to the dark places, to the relative places. This is one of the scarier places in the Shastra. Because usually in the Bhagavad Gita, what we hear Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, in the 17th chapter, that if you worship somebody other than me, if you worship or the 7th chapter of the Gita, if you worship some demigods, if you worship some other powerful controllers other than me, then you will go to the heavenly planets. You will go to paradise. So this is rather unusual for those of us coming from the Abrahamic religions background, because everybody else says, that if you don't worship the Supreme, then you go to hell. right? But Krishna says, no, you go to paradise. No problem. But paradise is still in this material world. This here is more familiar to us, right? The first half. If you worship the relative, temporary personalities, powerful demigods here, then yes, you go to very dark places, Hare Krishna. But then the second half is unexpected. If you worship the absolute, you go to an even darker place. What? I thought it's good. Worshipping the absolute is what we want to do, isn't it? Okay, so then we have some help here. It says impersonal, the impersonal absolute. So in other words, you do not worship the actual absolute personality of Godhead, but worship the impersonal absolute. Any questions? Bashar Prabhu? Yeah, please do.
Yeah, but worshipping the absolute is kind of theism, isn't it?
Yeah, it's theism, for sure.
So I believe in a higher power or
yes.
higher God. Why would I go to hell afterwards?
Of course, yeah, that's very weird. That's what I'm saying. It's shocking. It's a scandal. It's a scandal, yes. So that's why it says impersonal absolute, to help us. Okay, you worship the Brahman effulgence and you get stuck there for a long time. Basically, you do not get the best result. Yes? Usually, when we say impersonal absolute, this means that these are people who worship just the impersonal light. They do not want to accept that behind this light, as we will hear in Mantra 15, there is a person. Mantra 15 says, please move aside this effulgence so I can see you behind this, your face behind this effulgence. So these are people who say, we mentioned, these are people who say that, no, don't worship the Supreme Personality, there is no Supreme Personality, just let us all be impersonal, lose our personality, just let us all merge into the light. So that's the impersonal absolute. Yes? Hare Krishna.
Is it the same word for this is Brahman?
Brahman, yes. Brahman. Brahman in Sanskrit, yeah, usually we speak about the three levels of realization. One is this impersonal Brahman realization, the light of Brahma Jyoti, spiritual light that's pervading everything. Then the second is Paramatma, which is the super soul in every heart. And then the next one is Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all the other aspects. Yes? Okay. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the atheists and impersonalists lead foolish pseudo-religionists into the darkest regions by preaching the cult of atheism. The atheist directly denies the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the impersonalists support the atheists by stressing the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. Thus far, we have not come across any mantra in Sri Isopanisad in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is denied. So all the mantras here confirm that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, that there is a Supreme Personality. Okay, so that's one way to understand it. So impersonalists are condemned here. They do worship absolute, but they deny the personal nature, and so therefore they don't give their followers a chance to achieve Krishna, to achieve the spiritual planets. Okay. So in the Mahabharata, there is a striking discussion of a chanter. Let me just read you this part from the Mahabharata. Which describes where one goes. So this was a conversation between Maharaja Yudhisthira and Bhishma lying on the bed of arrows. And we know that Bhishma in the Mahabharata gives many very deep instructions, very famous instructions. There are two big volumes. One is the Shanti Parva and the other is Anushasana Parva. So, yes, okay, reciter, here it is. This comes in the glorification of chanting. So Bhishma glorifies the power of chanting the mantra. He says that there are those who follow some classic path of study and worship, and then with hard work and hard labor, they can go to some very high destination. And there are those who just chant. So he gives some stories of how the person who was just chanting the mantras got the same destination, the same power as the other person who was doing the mental gymnastics and he was trying to get success through study and personal effort. So then there's a beautiful story about this, and then Yudhisthira is asking Bhishma. He said, "Oh, grandfather, you said that those who chant japa, japin, whisperers. Japa in Sanskrit means to whisper. So one who whispers the mantras. That they go to a very high destination. They achieve the very high planets. They achieve the best results. So, can I ask you, what result do they get? What planets do they get? Do they all go? Do everybody who chants the mantras goes to the highest planet? So Bhishma said, "Oh, a powerful king, thank you for asking this. I will tell you, O bull among men." So when he calls him a bull, that's a compliment. Yeah? So if somebody, also when they call a lady a cow, that's also a compliment. Strangely enough, so a cow means he's very motherly and gentle and kind, and a bull means he's very powerful and strong and steady. So anyway, they loved cows. They really respected cows. I will not call you cows and bulls, but I will call you very respected yogis. So Bhishma says, yes, they achieve very high results, but sometimes that chanter who doesn't follow the method offered, who doesn't prepare himself before chanting, has to go to hell. So who are they? So that chanter who chants without faith, that chanter who is not satisfied with his duties, he may have to go to a hell. That chanter who takes no pleasure in his work goes to hell without a doubt. Those who perform the rituals with pride in their heart, such chanters all go to hell. That chanter who chants but insults and disrespects others, has to go to hell. That chanter who takes to chanting out of desire for some blessing, for some reward, or out of foolishness, will get what he wants, but then has to go to hell. Hare Krishna. That chanter who is chanting under the influence of attachments, who doesn't purify himself, and who has unsteady mind, gets an unsteady result and goes to hell. Hare Krishna. No, wait. That chanter who is foolish, who is deluded, has to go to hell. That chanter who wants mystic powers, to get mystic powers, has to go to hell for a long time. That chanter who renounces things in this world suddenly and violently, without deep conviction, also has to go to hell. So Yudhisthira is saying, "O grandfather, what kinds of hell, what descriptions of hell can you give where such a chanter goes? Can you explain this to me?" So Bhishma is saying, "O Yudhisthira, you are an expansion of God of righteousness. You are very moral yourself. So listen attentively to these hellish planets that the chanters go to. So those regions in the universe which are controlled by very noble gods, that are very bright in color and that are very pleasing to see, that give different enjoyments, and where there are vehicles that move at thought, move by just a thought and mantra, where there are, anyway, vehicles that move by thought. I guess nowadays that's a Tesla car, right? It just, I was riding in one devotee, he's just chanting Hare Krishna, and then the vehicle is moving. Anyway, I don't know if Europe allows this driverless. I haven't seen this in Europe yet. In the USA, they already allowing the driverless? Not in USA, yes. Very good for traffic jams. Just sit and chant and the car moves on its own. Jai Shri Nrsimhadev Ki Jai. So there are chariots, celestial chariots, not the chariots that move just on the ground, but the chariots that can fly, chariots that move at your desire, where there are beautiful palaces and beautiful pleasure garlands with golden lotuses, the planets that belong to the rulers of the directions and to Venus and Brihaspati and Jupiter and Maruts and Vishwadevas, Ashwins and Rudras and Adityas and Vasus. So these planets, O King, are described as hells when compared to the planet of the super soul outside of this universe. So basically, again, this is the same thing, that this chanter goes to these beautiful planets where all the desires are fulfilled. And they are the best heavenly planets that you can imagine, and even better than you can imagine. But compared to the spiritual world, compared to the planets of Krishna, to the planets of Vaikuntha, they are described as hells or dark planets because they are still within this universe, right? So that's this is the warning here, that if we become attached to something, if we basically, as Krishna said in the Gita, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatam tata gacchati. Oh dear Arjuna, anybody who is doing anything good will never get anything bad. He will always get some good result. He will never get a bad result if you do something good. So if you try to cultivate knowledge, if you try to worship the Supreme, even if somebody worships the demigods, there will be some a relatively good result. But compared to the spiritual result you could get with the same effort or less, then this is considered somewhat unfortunate, right? So that's why they are described as hells or hellish planets. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments here? Are you relieved or are you still worried about? So, are we going to hell? Yes, bro.
Thanks a lot, Prabhu, for wonderful class. And this was really enlightening, and it basically ignites the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After hearing your class, when I think that why even the heavenly planets are considered to be the hellish planets, is because just by going there, there is a possibility that the soul can be easily entangled from the various different facilities are there, and then he will forget his ultimate goal. And that is why, so if suppose somebody can stay in a palace, and if you just bring him to the 5-star hotel, then he will forget his goal of going to the palace, and he will enjoy the facilities there, the swimming pool and all the sauna and this and that, all these things. And that is why just by getting entangled into those allurements there, he might fall down even into the deepest darkness. And that is why these places are considered to be the hellish planets.
Yes. Thank you.
And this also reminded me another verse, the analogy which you presented, is that the Bhishmacharya is telling that he will go to the hell, and then Yudhisthira Maharaja is asking that what kind of hells are they, and then he is saying even the heavenly planets are considered to be the hell. In one of the lectures I heard that when Lord Krishna said to Arjuna that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyami Mashucha. And in that lecture I heard that when Lord Krishna says Papebhyo, your sinful reactions or activities, I will take care of them.
Yes.
He basically mean all your good karma as well as your bad karma. Because unless and until they both gets eradicated, you will not come to Krishna.
Yes.
So even the good karmas are also considered to be the bad karmas.
Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Your good name is?
Mohan Gopal Das.
Mohan Gopal. Thank you, Mohan Gopal. Hare Krishna. Okay. So you can see that what is happening here is that Isopanisad is trying to give a warning to everybody, both to people on the street. So Prabhupada is trying to wake people up and say, worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. But even to those who are practicing some processes, still this is quite relevant. Of course, better to start spiritual path somehow or other. Krishna says, if you, in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that even if one falls down, that was Arjuna's question. Okay, this is so difficult to control the mind. So what happens if I fall down? Don't I lose both spiritual and material results? So Krishna says, no Arjuna, you never lose anything. So if somebody just begins practicing yoga, a path of spiritual development, self-realization, then if he falls down in the beginning, then they will go to the higher planets to enjoy, and then they come back and they take birth in comfortable conditions in some aristocratic or wealthy families, and they can continue. And if somebody falls down after a long time, after achieving some high level of development, then they will take birth in the exalted family of transcendentalists, of some transcendentalists, where they will quickly revive their transcendental consciousness and understanding and continue from where they stopped. So you will never lose. There is no loss Krishna says, on this path. On this path there is no loss. Still, to make us serious, we have some wake-up calls. So let us chant mantra 13. Anya devaho sambhavad, anya dahora sambhavad, iti shushrumadhiranam, yena stad vichachakshire. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. And mantra 14. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedo bhayam saha vinashana mrityum tirtva sambhutyam ritam. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, man and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it, and in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So the same template is happening here. So by worshipping non-absolute, one goes down. By worshipping absolute improperly or without proper understanding, one goes even further down. But when we hear from the authorities, we see that one path leads up, the other path leads down, and then the conclusion is to combine, to give proper respect to the relative, and to worship the absolute also. So then you just go up. Then you go up by taking proper care of this temporary relative body and relative things, non-eternal things. You can avoid disease, avoid misery, avoid death, avoid suffering, and by worshipping Krishna and by learning about Krishna, learning about Krishna's pastimes, you will enjoy the eternal nectar of spiritual life. In verse 13, Srila Prabhupada mentions parampara, that evam parampara praptam. We get this knowledge from the disciplic succession. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes different scriptures to show that Krishna is the source of all the other rulers of this universe. In the end, Prabhupada says, the Lord's inner direction cleanses the devotee's heart of all contamination produced by the material modes of passion and ignorance. Non-devotees are under the sway of passion and ignorance. One who is in passion cannot become detached from material hankering, and one who is in ignorance cannot know what he is or what the Lord is. What the Lord is. Thus, when one is in passion or ignorance, there is no chance for self-realization, however much one may play the part of a religionist. For a devotee, the modes of passion and ignorance are removed by the grace of the Lord. In this way, the devotee becomes situated in the quality of goodness, the sign of a perfect Brahmana. When one attains Brahminical qualifications, he becomes happy and enthusiastic to render devotional service to the Lord. Automatically, the science of God is unveiled before him. So this way, one gradually can move forward. So, for us, this is anartha nivriti. So we see what are the qualities, negative qualities. So we all know that this is something you hear from the very beginning. In the temple, the 4 regulative principles. We do not eat meat, right? It's not good to eat meat, so we follow this, right? We avoid illicit sex. We avoid intoxication. We avoid gambling. So the four regulative principles which make one infatuated in this material world. And this is a very simple way to explain anartha nivritti, or removal of the undesirable qualities in the heart. So that's taking care of ignorance, and that's taking care of the relative. Because we see, for example, we have so-called prakrita sahajiyas, and they accept the positive of chanting, yes, but they say, no, it doesn't matter if you forget about any principles, no need to think about any principles, to avoid any bad habits, who cares, it doesn't matter. And then the result is that they create a false picture of devotional service. So there was even a time when it was considered that, you know, devotional service is something very loose. These are people who do anything, and they don't care about pure life. So therefore, both things are important. Of course, the positive is more important, but also living proper life in this world is also helpful to remove the obstacles on the path to perfection, on the path of self-realization. So, two things go in parallel. And then, if one does this, if one takes all of this in proper balance, if one doesn't neglect either side, either the temporary or the eternal side, then all the blessings come to the person, and then in mantra 15 he is praying. Let us chant mantra 15, a very famous mantra, asking further blessings. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushanna pavrino satyadharmaya drishtaye. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So he says, please, this golden effulgence, this blinding, dazzling effulgence, kindly move it aside so I can see your face. So if there is a face, there is a head. If there is a head, there is a neck. If there is a neck, there is a body. Right? So Krishna is a person. Isopanisad is speaking about person, is speaking about the face, is speaking about personal relationships with the Lord. So we have heard about all the qualities, many qualities of Krishna. Also, in mantra 13, about different destinations of one who is following one path or the other. Prabhupada is also defeating another Mayavad argument. So there is another Mayavadi famous statement, yatamat tatapat. So as you like, this path you can take. So it doesn't matter, you can take any path. So for different people there are different paths, which, you know, in general, okay, yes, for different individuals there will be different paths. That's okay, that's true. But it doesn't mean that anything goes. It doesn't mean that you can invent your path. And it doesn't mean that anybody will achieve the same result. So Prabhupada is using this verse, and then he gives another example. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta, but not Bombay. So, right. So, even if there is a big mix-up, still it's very rare that the train that is supposed to go to Calcutta will go to Bombay. So in the same way, obviously, if you meditate on Krishna, this is where you will go. If we meditate on something else, this is the other place. This is something else where we will go. So that's another argument that Srila Prabhupada is giving. Okay. I wanted to do one exercise, and I am thinking, shall we do it now, or shall we do it? You want to do so? Prabhupada says here that in Isopanisad there is no place so far that denies the personal nature of Krishna. So far every mantra and every text describes Krishna as the Supreme Personality. So I wanted to ask you if you can maybe get into 2 or 3 groups, and if you can write down from these texts as many qualities of Krishna as you can find in these texts, like for up to verse, not including verse 15. So verse 15, where it says about the face, that we leave for later. But so far, maybe we can just look through these mantras, and I will ask you to make a list, maybe here on the back, on this one, and on this one. I will give you. So can you maybe write down here yes, 2. You can use 2. So if you can look from mantra 1, Ishavasyam, even from the invocation, Om Purnamada Purnamidam, and just write with the numbers 1, 2, 3. How many qualities of Krishna you can collect? Maybe you should even. Okay, let's have 3 groups. So naturally we have 1 group, 2nd group, and maybe I can give you 1 more, right? And you can give them, and 1 pen. Yes, you can give them 1 pen, please. So you can take 10 minutes and write down as many qualities of the Absolute of Krishna mentioned in the Isopanisad as you can list in the text, in the mantras. Yes. Okay, so how is it going? How many qualities do you have so far? 6. How many you have, Gambira? How many? 14? Over 10? 13, okay. And, okay, Hare Krishna, bro. And here, okay. No, but from the text, not, yes, from the text. No, it's... No. No tricks, no tricks. Swifter than the wind. Okay. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So Balgopal Prabhu, can you see their list and add 1 or 2 qualities that from the texts? Okay, it seems which shall we begin with? Okay, let's start with this one. Yeah? All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Did you look at verse 8? Did anybody write without veins or... Yes? Okay. So, Supreme Controller, Ishavasyam, right? Perfectly complete, so this is Purnam, right? Perfectly balanced, also Purnam, okay? Supreme Proprietor or owner of everything, yeah, so that's also from Isha, right? Ishavasyam. Swifter than the mind, the fastest, okay, so this is Javiya. From the fourth mantra. Omnipresent, so that's 6 and 7, right? That you see him everywhere, see the oneness. Sambhuti, so this is today. That means independent and absolute. Yeah, okay, thank you. Can we look at yours? Thank you. Okay, complete or Purnam, okay, yes. Unembodied, so he doesn't have a material body. Omniscient, he knows everything. Beyond reproach, no defects. Yeah? Good. Without veins, probably also good, right? We discussed yesterday. Pure and uncontaminated, yes. Faster than the mind. Perfect. Faster than the others who are running. Prophylactic, antiseptic, walking and not walking. Yes. You remember why the contradictions are given in the Isopanisad? What is the purpose of such contradictions? To prove Krishna's not material, yes. In the purport, Prabhupada says to prove his inconceivable power. Beyond ordinary. Thank you. Self-sufficient. Omnipotent, he can do anything. Yes. Surpasses all in excellence. Yes, very nice. Thank you. And your qualities here. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so perfectly complete. You had controller of everything, owner, swifter, faster, unapproachable even to demigods. Okay, so that's elaborated. Controller of those who supply the air and rain. Okay, we have a lot of rain today. Surpasses all in excellence. Contradictions. Yeah, contradictions. Walks and doesn't walk. Near and far, within and outside. Okay, so you have 3 contradictions here, right? Greatest of all, unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure and uncontaminated, fulfilling everyone's desire. Okay, thank you. I was hoping somebody will. Fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial. Yeah? Yatata tato. Fairly, nicely fulfilling everybody's desires since forever, as it says. Okay, thank you. Very good. So can we now look at these qualities one more time? And can you please choose one quality that you like the most, one quality that is more attractive to you, that you would put number 1 and number 2, and one quality that you also like and you would put number 14. So what is your number 1 and what is your quality number last among these qualities of Krishna? So just can you all look and choose number 1 and number last? You cannot say you don't like it, but it doesn't sound, so nice that you don't like it. But you like it, but it's not your first or second or third or even 10th. It's somewhere at the bottom of the qualities you like. So can everybody make a choice here? What attracts you most among Krishna's qualities? Has everybody selected one? One top and one bottom. The top quality and the bottom quality. Who needs more time? Okay, look better. So faster, inside, very near, very far. Kindly fulfilling desires. Inside and outside, all-powerful controller. Ready? Okay, so now can you please turn to your neighbor and share what is your top and what is your bottom. The top quality you like and what is your bottom quality of these qualities. Just 2, one-on-one. If you can kindly share with somebody. Okay? Okay, did everybody share? Just for curiosity, anybody would like to share what was one of your bottom qualities? Who would like to share? Which did you put last? Tavius? Full of contradictions, okay? Also first and last, okay. Very clever. So welcome, Paul. Without veins, yes, that sounds like okay. Okay. Anybody else would like to share?
What I like, the last one.
Yes.
What I don't use last in my priority is that is far away.
Far away, okay. Yes, yes, yeah. Yes, yes, yeah. Okay, that's a little sad. Okay, he's far away. Okay. Okay, so please next time you chant Hare Krishna, you either in a kirtan or in a japa or you come to the Lord, please remember some of these qualities. Remember your number one, please remember your number bottom, whichever, please remember some of these qualities of Krishna. So you can see, even just a few mantras of the Isopanisad, we can already get so many qualities that Krishna has. And Krishna really likes when we think about him with these qualities. He tells Brahma in Canto 3 that I really thank you that you prayed to me describing my qualities. Right? So, thank you very much. Please meditate on Krishna's qualities. Meditate on how Krishna is in every heart and every atom, and meditate on how Krishna removes all imperfections. By connecting with him, we remove all imperfections, and how all the contradictory qualities prove his power, how his inconceivable power. Through these contradictions. And we continue tomorrow morning with the last two sections, the prayers, and then one more, the prayer glorifying Krishna and prayer asking for guidance. Please guide us. So this is the 17th and 18th mantra, saying, please lead me forward, which probably many of us need to get some advice from Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Shri Isopanisad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Prahlad Nrsimhadev ki jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada.